Hey singers, it's Karen from Scarlette Coaching, and today I am here for the very first of an exciting new series. It's called At the Bar, and the idea is to have a chat with some kind of muso type person. Could be a singer, could be a producer, could be a writer. And today I am with the fabulous Mr. Thomas Gearing to kick things off. So Tom is one of my oldest friends. He is a fabulous player, writer, producer, all kinds of muso magic. We met over 20 years ago when we worked on my first album, Bringing Me Home. And Tom then went more down a musical theatre kind of road, didn't you? But I'll let Tom fill you in on that. So this is Tom. Tell us all about yourself, Tom, and all the amazing things that you've done.
Hi everyone. Yep, my name's Tom, pianist and musical director. Everything really. That's the great thing about music. You find what you love, and if you're lucky, you get a chance to do lots of it. So I've worked a lot in theatre, lots in the UK, toured everywhere, been around the world as well. So I'm very fortunate to be able to say that. What I love about theatre is that all the story that goes behind the music, and that has so many applications in other styles as well. And getting to work with loads of different performers. So either whether it's pop stuff, gigging, or working in a kind of a set theatre show, there's always something to keep you interested.
So what Tom is missing out there is my favourite story, and he knows I'm going to make him share at least one sort of fabulous story. Backstage, Tom, I can't remember, what was the event? Was it something like the Brits?
No, it was World Music Awards.
Oh, there you go, the World Music Awards.
Yeah.
Who did you bump into, Thomas?
Backstage, I just bumped into someone I believe you're aware of.
Oh, yes,
familiar with, Miss Celine Dion. Just in passing, but of course, sadly, this was before I had a camera phone, so I wasn't able to capture the moment for Karen. So
well, yeah, exactly, for me. Anyway, so Tom, I've got some questions from my Voice Unleashed guys, and the very first one, which I'm going to kick off with, which I thought was a fabulous question to ask, was how do you find, or what's the best approach to warming a singer up?
It varies from singer to singer, but the most important thing is that you're doing something that's really low intensity, really low energy. And, breathing is a great way to start, especially if you're someone that has any anxiety when you perform. And anxiety can come at all times, not just when you're in a performance. It can happen before rehearsals or when you're working with someone new. So breathing is a great place to start. Also humming, buzzing, something that's in the middle of your voice, just something that gets it moving before you start working with it.
And how long do you tend to... I love this question because obviously singers wonder how long should I warm up for? I personally say, think of it like you're doing a workout, 5-10 minutes. Do you think that's about right for your guys? Or
yeah, absolutely. And you can do it anywhere. Sometimes if I'm going to do a presentation or if I'm doing a workshop, I will do something in the car on the way there. Not because I will be doing any singing necessarily, but any kind of speaking or any kind of extended conversation. Just sort of breathing, humming in the car. No one can hear you, so don't worry.
There's nothing like an audition and going to the toilet and hearing every single cubicle doing some kind of vocal siren. Yeah. Anyway, so that was that question. Next question that we had is, it's a little bit out there, so I think I'll field this one, but it's a great question. It's about vocal distortion. So the question was, essentially, can anybody create vocal distortion? And obviously that then leads on to how. So if we think about, what is vocal distortion? Essentially what you're doing, it's straining your voice, but the idea is to do it in a controlled way. Can everybody do it? Well, in my opinion, they can, because ultimately, can we all strain our voice? Yes, we can. Can we all kind of make a sort of growly sound? Usually, yes. But what leads us onto the more important question is, does it sound nice for you as a singer? And in my opinion, it's a technique that doesn't suit every single voice. So the first thing to work out is how to create that kind of sound, and then how to create it healthily. For me, I think that when you're accessing different sounds for your voice, approaching it with a sense of play to begin with, just so you can get your head around that sound, is really important. So if we're talking about creak, I always tell people to literally think of The Grudge or A Creaky Door and just start with that. So with growl, vocal distortion, you have to find the right approach. It could literally be that you're imitating quite literally like a lion growling, something like that. Or maybe you've listened to a favourite singer who uses a lot of vocal distortion and growl. That's the audience heckling there, giving a lip bubble. whatever it is, start with making the sound, and what you will probably find is that it hurts. So it's at that point that you then want to work with a vocal coach to actually then figure out how to make the sound healthily, and then if you actually want to. And if you want examples, check out kind of like black gospel origin music, and you will find it everywhere. I mean, even Whitney Houston uses a little bit of growl or vocal distortion, very sparingly, but it is there. So moving on to our next question. And this is, you know, quite a general question, Tom, and a tough one for you, but it's the obvious one. How would you recommend a singer go about getting into a show? Like, what's the best route for them to do that? Is it an agency? Should they go on a course? What do they hound people like you? What do they do?
So this is a really good question, and I get asked it by musicians and singers. There isn't really one path. The most important thing is that you're making the most of opportunities for people to see what you can do. So when you go to an audition, yes, it's an audition for something specific, but if you treat it as an exercise, like a musical performance, you should think of it as, this is my opportunity to show this panel or these people or whatever it is, how I perform, what my ability is. Don't think of it as, if I do well, I'm going to end up in a show, or if I do badly, I'm not going to get the job. Use it as an opportunity to show people how you can perform. And the reason I say that is that those people, your name is on that list, and if you do a good job, you might not be right for that specific thing, and theatre is really, really specific. So it may just be that you're not right for that particular ensemble, but they will remember you, and when you see them again, it's about, you have to do your own advertising, and there's no better place to do it than in the room with the people that are doing it.
And it really is such a small world, isn't it? They all know each other. And please don't take it personally, guys, because if you go down this road and you end up in this world, you are going to do God knows how many auditions till something sticks. And it doesn't mean that you are not good, and it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. As Tom says, it can literally come down to someone whose hair they prefer. It really can be that simple, that it's on a look as much as a sound, right?
And the most important thing is that when you go into that room, you've learned what they've asked you to learn.
Yep.
Don't think I can just wing it on the day. If you don't know the music, tell them and say, have you got a track that can help me? Have you got a guide that can help me? Don't go in and think you can blag it, because you'll be in front of people that know that music really well. In some instances, that person has written the music, is in the room. So make sure you do justice to the material and yourself. If you're taking your own song, pick a song that shows you off, but is something that you can do when you're not feeling 100%. That's the most important thing. Don't go in and say, I'm ill today.
Yeah.
Even if you are ill, just go in and do it.
Yeah.
And then they might ask, how are you feeling?
And on that, it's really important, guys, if you get sent through sheet music that you don't know how to read, and a track that you don't really quite get it, as Tom says, do not just listen to a singer singing the song and kind of sing along and think you can blag it. Take the time, go and find a pianist, go to a singing teacher, someone to help you work out where that intro, or how long that intro is, and when to come in. And as Tom says, if you're not sure and you get in the room and there's a pianist or a Tom there, ask them to give you the nod, like, can you just tell me when to come in? They won't think less of you for that, but what they won't like is if you kind of just stand there and it goes wrong and it falls apart. So last couple of questions, because we've got to go. So Tom, this is actually one of my questions. I think that it's really interesting to see how musical theatre is now fusing with popular music, and within that, obviously, you've got such a variety. You've got rock, you've now got reggae, you've got standard pop. So 2 questions. One is, do you think that this is sort of diluting old school kind of traditional musical theatre? So, when we think about more classically trained singers who would, like Alfie Boe, for example, is it diluting it, or are we kind of getting very much sort of poppy singers are doing this, but we've still got room for, the more sort of classically trained or musical theatre stereotypical singers that we think of, then those guys who just do that? Like, how are singers sort of coping with this brand new world of variety in musical theatre?
I think with I think with every new show that comes out, there's always going to be a development, and obviously, as you rightly say, that a lot of these sort of jukebox style musicals or musicals that are now put together in a particular style will attract a specific style of singer.
Right.
But that's for the challenges of that music. There are still the traditional shows which are really popular. You know, Crazy for You has had a really good run. So there's always going to be that room for all voices. It's just about finding what works for you, but also, you know, push yourself. Don't just think, oh, I'm a classical singer or I'm a pop singer. You know, have those lessons, speak to someone, say, look, how do I sing this song? It's not, all you can do is present your best material. It will be up to the people making the decision if they think that you're a good fit for them. And you might be a fit across the whole ensemble, because even the pop shows will have elements of other vocal styles in it. It just depends show to show.
So that's fabulous advice. So what I'm taking from that is what Tom is saying is you are what you are. Strive to be as good as you can be and to always develop. But ultimately, all you can do is show up, give your best, and then let the people who are running the shows work out if you are or are not right for the show.
And you'll be right for something eventually.
Right, last question, and then I'm going to let Tom go. So you've got to share with us, we don't have to, but it would be nice if you shared a story, sort of like fun favourite story from some kind of gig or rehearsal, or something from, you know, your past.
Okay, a fun rehearsal. Well, something I've been doing recently, which is quite new to me, is working with groups of musicians and forming a band, and those musicians then go on to perform as a group elsewhere. And what I've loved about that is that these musicians have come from all over the world. So you've got a real diversity of approach to music, choice of songs, you know, foreign language songs as well. So it's really been expanding my sort of vocabulary, you know, covering a lot more music from Europe, the US. And I think what I've really enjoyed is just going into a room on day one and saying, what are we going to do? And then all these ideas, and it's about working together. And that is very similar to a theatre show. Even though there's a script, there's choreography, there's music. Those early days of theatre are very similar to the early days of a band, where you've got all of these ideas and eventually you end up streamlining it into something else. And that's what I've really enjoyed recently, because it was definitely a challenge, because I had to learn a lot more music and sort of prepare for all of that. But yeah, it's been really great, you know, listening to a new version of a classic country song that I haven't heard before, because it's a new range of people, you know, working on some backing vocals, getting all the harmonies in, and how that works with the band. So yeah, that's something I've really enjoyed.
And favourite show you've played on? Favourite
show? Well, I'll always love Jersey Boys, because the music's fantastic. I love The Bodyguard as well, because it's Whitney Houston, so what's not to love about that? And I'm still playing on Hamilton, which is a fantastic challenge. And so I think those are my top three.
There you go. So thank you very much for your time today, Tom. Guys, I hope you found this interesting and useful. I definitely have. And we're going to let Tom go off about his day. Anyway, take care, guys. See you later.